Lorica is a spin-off from the capital market CRC, carrying on their great tradition of looking at fraud in stock markets. We started our life looking at fraud in healthcare, and where we're expanding into is using really interesting data sets to help doctors and hospitals and insurers and government deal with the market failures and the perverse incentives that riddle healthcare that result in these kind of stats. So in the US, medical errors are the third highest all cause of death after heart disease and cancer. Similar stats exist in Australia, resulting in about 18,000 deaths annually. About 43% of care in Australia is delivered outside of guidelines, and the McKeon Review into medical research suggested about $30 to $40 billion a year being wasted on things that either don't work or harm in healthcare in Australia. So with those sort of stats, you can't really say that it's a health system, but rather a loosely aggregated collection of highly dysfunctional markets that don't really serve any of the intended stakeholders properly. Our thesis is that you can measure the quality of a market by breaking it down into its intended purpose. In the case of healthcare, fairness and efficiency, and that fairness and efficiency themselves are made up of things like access to care, lack of fraud, lack of abuse. On the efficiency side, it's all around transparency of the market, around whether you know what the price is, how good it is, and whether it's going to help you or not. So we started, as I mentioned, our life looking at fraud and abuse, bad behaviour going on and identifying it and getting money back for it. But we're really interested in going into this sort of more clinical realm. And the way that we've done it is we get claims data from payers of healthcare, insurers and government and the like, and we analyse it in a bunch of ways. We've built 3 products. The first one I'll talk about is called I+, and that allows you to analyse performance, comparing hospitals and doctors and health systems with each other so that you can actually start to get an idea of whether people are on par, below or above par. What happened? Oh, there we go. Out of that, you can do standard consulting and the like and produce dashboards and reports that executives can act on in health services. The next bit of software, HiBiz, is a rules-based engine that targets mismatches in this data and fires alerts to compliance teams or Lorica's own compliance teams who then hunt down where that so-called leakage has occurred, and we claw that money back for the people who've paid it accidentally. We've got some machine learning that runs on that to keep the alerts improving over time. And the third bit of software, which is only 6 months old but has 2 enterprise customers already, is Nemo, which is a negotiation tool that looks at the really hot point in the value chain in healthcare, where insurers and hospital chains set prices in annual or biannual negotiations. And what we're doing there is we're injecting quality metrics such that the thing that's being negotiated isn't just the price of activity, but the price of quality of care delivered in the hospitals. We do work for 30 of the 33 private health insurers and a range of government clients. And we're moving into the clinical space by starting to build dashboards that doctors can see to start looking at their own performance, because it might surprise you to know that doctors knowing how they perform themselves isn't a big thing. It doesn't really happen that frequently in the health system, and this is a way to start systematising and automating performance improvement in healthcare. We're also interested in helping to inform patients about the kind of care that they might be getting by speaking to GPs and giving them some new tools. And what we're here to do isn't to ask for money because we're cash flow positive, but actually find really interesting, curious, disciplined, mission-driven, agile-loving data scientists, product gurus and software engineers. So we know you're out there. There are our contact details, and Mark, who's our dev manager, and myself are going to be looking forward to chatting with you a bit later. Thank you.